Thank you.
All right. Good evening. The August 24th, 2022 monthly meeting of the Dickson County School Board is now in session. For the record, I'd like to recognize that all school board members except for Dr. Lyle, who is attending a Virginia School Board Association state meeting, and Mr. Hackney, who has requested to participate electronically are present, as well as Tanya Baker, Board Clerk, Scott Mullen, School Board Attorney, and Mrs. Robinson, Division Superintendent. Board members, Mr. Hackney has requested to participate in the meeting through electronic communication. Mr. Hackney, for policy, what is the reason for your request?
Family medical matters.
There we go. Do we have a motion to allow Mr. Hackney to participate in the meeting through electronic communication?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. At this time, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have an agenda for tonight's meeting. Are there any additions or revisions to the agenda?
Mr. Chair, there are no revisions to the agenda.
Okay. With no revisions or additions, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That brings us to our public comment section. I will read the guidelines for public comment. A period of time for public comment will be designated on the meeting agenda, during which the public may comment on issues related to public education. The Dickson County School Board believes that citizens of the county should be heard and that this is an acceptable format for receiving public comment. After the public comment section of the meeting is closed, the public shall not be allowed to participate in general board member discussions regarding agenda items. Public participation with the board members regarding agenda items can be disruptive, and the practice is prohibited by Robert's Rules of Order. It is the desire of the school board to treat each member of the public fairly and equally. Allowing one individual to participate while excluding others is unfair. The board may hold such public hearings as may be necessary to allow the public to more fully express their concerns, or the board may place the public comment section of any meeting at the end of the meeting to allow additional public comments. While we do not wish to restrict the free expression of opinion, we feel that certain restrictions may be necessary so that order and reasonable standards of decorum may be maintained. We ask that the following standards be adhered to. The speaker will be recognized by the chair. Each speaker will be limited to 5 minutes. Speakers will refrain from the use of vulgarity or profanity and will avoid negative or embarrassing comments directed towards specific children or students. Board members should not respond to issues presented by speakers unless clarification is necessary. Matters of concern raised under public comment will be referred to the proper official for investigation and future board consideration if necessary. So for public comment, the board would like to recognize Kathy Music with BPE. She's not with us, is she? All right, Phyllis Mullins with DEA.
Good evening, and it's great to be back. We have had a very successful beginning of school, and we have also had a good increase in our membership this year, which I'm very thankful and proud of. And I'm looking forward to working with everybody for the rest of the year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hicks, you may want to ask if anyone else would like to.
Okay. Do we have anyone else for public comment?
Hello, how are y'all today?
Good.
In case any of you don't know me, my name's Avery Rose. I'm a full-time school bus driver and aide here at Ridgeview Middle School. I'm here tonight only for the purpose of I would like clarification on a dress code policy. I had emailed some of you a letter, I don't know if you got it or not, just asking for the clarification. I'm just going to read that letter in case any of you didn't receive it. I'm addressing this letter to you and the other school board members. I would like to have some clarification on the newly approved, which I've found out it's not new, I'm sorry, employee dress code policy. The policy vaguely states that shorts/gym shorts, and if you'd like it, I have a copy of it here, how it's stated exactly, are inappropriate to wear. To me and others I have spoken with, interpret this to mean some form of athletic or basketball type shorts and not just shorts, period. I was informed that it meant shorts, period, and that it would not be allowed, and I would not be allowed to wear cargo-style shorts any longer. If it is to mean shorts, period, where is the line then drawn? What do you call shorts? Are they shorts, short pants, or capri-style shorts? Those styles are supposedly acceptable. My cargo shorts, as many of you have seen probably as I walk down, I've worn the same style, exact same style, just 3 different colors. I reorder regularly. They come well below my knee. And they're approximately the same length as most women's capri pants, though those are allowed. Others, as well, female staff members are allowed to wear even mid-thigh length dresses. And again, I don't have a problem with that. The only problem that I have is that my attire is now deemed inappropriate. I would just request that the board members please clarify what is meant by exactly shorts/gym shorts. Is that athletic wear, basketball type shorts, or is that shorts, period? Would you all like to see the policy? I have a copy for each of you if you would like to see how it is exactly written.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
This is directly from our handbook. On the, it begins page 17, but if you turn over on the second page, specifically the second bullet, there how it reads exactly, shorts/gym shorts. And again, when it was brought to my attention, I genuinely was shocked when I began working for Dixie County Public Schools as an aide and came here. My shorts, what I wear, was approved by John Whitner as well as Laura Stanley to be appropriate to wear in the performance of my duties as a paraprofessional.
Members of the board, I might just chime in. You know, the policy says whatever it says. If we're going to make any modifications to policy, that needs to be some night when it's on the agenda for discussion and vote. You know, you can, I would just suggest you follow your guidelines for public comment. And if we're going to revisit this at some point in time, we need to get it on the agenda for discussion.
And that is, I do understand that as well. That's why I specifically only asked for clarification is all, as to what it means.
And I know that we probably exceeded the 5-minute deadline at some point, I don't know that, but...
I'll take my seat.
But
You all-
regardless, you know, the language is whatever the language is. It's just a matter of whether at some future date you want to change or clarify that language. But I don't think it's something you can change or clarify tonight.
But thank you, that's all
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else for public comment? All right, if not, our next agenda item is the consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes, the approval of monthly bills, revenue and expenditure summary, discussion of school activity funds, approval of field trips, approval of elementary school construction invoices, and the approval of bank reconciliation documents. Are there any questions or discussion on the consent agenda? Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Our next agenda item is information for the school board. Mrs. Robinson.
Thank you. Mr. Hicks, just VSBA conferences and seminars that are available. And again, if you have any questions, please contact Mrs. Baker. The November 16th through 18th VSBA Annual Convention, I understand, rooms are reserved in the actual meeting area, so it's very, very convenient. You don't have to travel to another area, and it's a beautiful location for the VSBA Annual Convention. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Robinson, you have some good news from our schools?
Well, it certainly has been a memorable week. It's not every week that we begin the first day of school with Senator John Warner here. Senator Warner spoke with, Mark Warner. I did that the last, Mr. Senator Mark Warner, thank you. Thank you, Phyllis, I felt your eyes. Senator Mark Warner. Senator Warner was here with our 8th grade students on Monday, first day of school. I want to recognize our teachers, Mrs. Hay, Mrs. Fletcher, the Ridgeview Middle School staff. They had just everything just so well prepared for Senator Mark Warner's visit. Then after that, we also had a roundtable discussion right behind the stage area here. We had several of our candidates and local officials here, members of the Board of Supervisors. We had also Mr. Barton, Mr. Hackney was here, Mr. Rasnick was here, we were very appreciative of that. And then about 6 or 7 local division superintendents. So it was just an excellent meeting. I want to say that our 8th grade students really represented us well, and we were so proud of them with their questions. So that was the first day of school. Since then, I've had the opportunity to meet with all of our teachers. Also had a busy week last week with our staff development. Our convocation on Monday was excellent. We had an excellent speaker and talking about trauma for our students, and I think we were all challenged to be a Coach Morrow. And I'll have to tell you that story. I won't take the time, but I was a coach that had great impact on a young man's life. And so he told his story of his life and then the impact of Coach Morrow. We've had a great beginning of school. I've been in all of our schools and talked to many of our teachers. Our students are actually, I think, what appears to me is that they're glad to be back. Several of high school students have said, yeah, I've had a great week. And usually if you get anything from high school students, you know, you don't always get that much from them. But it's been just a great week. We hope it will continue. And just want to take a moment to thank all of our central office staff, our administrators, all of our maintenance, custodians, everyone, bus drivers, all the people that have contributed to a successful beginning of school. The buildings look wonderful if you've been in them. They look absolutely wonderful, and we're very proud to begin the school year. And so it's been a good beginning of school, Mr. Higgs and board members. Thank you. Oh, and one more thing, I'm sorry.
Okay.
While our law enforcement is here, thank you, I'm sorry, Mr. Hicks, I'd just like to recognize Sheriff Fleming and the Dixon County Sheriff's Department for the active shooter training in our schools last week. It's another sad statement, I think, when we need active shooter training, but they did an excellent job. The main instructor was Investigator Tim Powers. Trooper Tim Neese was here with the Virginia State Police. Other instructors were Mike Stidham. Sheriff Jeremy Fleming was here. Matthew Mullins. Other SROs that participated at their school and joined us in our other schools, of course, was Scotty Owens, Chris Mullins, Stephanie Mullins, Grant Garrett, Rolly Bowman, Donald Byers, and Jeremy Osborne. There were other sheriff deputies that assisted with the scenarios. It was just excellent, and I just want to thank all of them and our law enforcement. They took time from their week to be with us, and they went through just training with all of our staff members, and it was excellent. So I just want to thank them for their time and their efforts last week to meet with all our staff. Thank you, Mr. Hicks, and I apologize. I think I've covered all the good news. Thank you, sir.
Good deal. Mr. Byrd is next on our agenda with the update on the Ridgeview Elementary School.
Well, the school continues to look better and better over there. This month, we were able to get the power on. We got all the air conditioning units running. They don't run them all the time, but they've all been started up. We are running units at night to cool the building, trying to dry it out so we can get ready to start putting flooring down, and then doors and casework and ceiling tiles, and get it all wrapped up inside. Outside, they are making improvements finally on getting ready to install the ceramic tiles that go around the building. The data cabling and security and access controls is about 85% pulled in now. Ceiling grid, they've started on the second floor classrooms now. Sheetrock, they've sheetrocked the art room and the media center, continuing to wrap up all the miscellaneous things that have not been sheetrocked, stairwells and such. Most everything that's been finished inside as far as drywall or CMU that's been painted and has been primed in one coat of paint now. They have actually sprayed the ceiling in the gym once. They're waiting for them to install the ductwork in the gym, the duct sock and all that. It'll be sprayed one more time. Then the basketball goals will be coming in the next couple of weeks. Following that will be the flooring and the bleachers. We did get the scoreboards up this week. They've already been installed, tested, and are working. The flooring, the bathroom ceramic tiles, Most everything on the first floor is completed, second floor is well on its way. The curtain wall and glass is continuing to progress. Where we don't have glass or it's opening, we've covered with plastic so that to keep the air in as we run the units. And hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll see ceramic tile on the outside. It's actually a tile that looks like the precast on this building. And then the metal panels will follow after that. As far as the classroom wing and the multipurpose room, good news there. Both floors, the first floor of both areas has been poured. The walls on the multipurpose room have been topped out. They have started setting the bar joists, and they probably had a decking on them today for the first floor of the classroom wing. The plan is to pour that floor on Monday. Then the contractor will get back up there and continue the ICF walls to the roof bearing height. And maybe they're going to move over to set the trusses on the multipurpose room. Then they can come back, hopefully, without leaving too long, and set the trusses on the roof of the classroom wing. So that's all going well. Some of the rough in has already started, electrical in the walls in the classroom wing on the first floor, as you can see. As far as the project still remains in budget, we had some more furniture delivered last week to the Career Center. Like I said, the school boards have been delivered and installed. Interactive boards, computers, and all that stuff, I think most everything of that is already here and in storage, waiting for the right time to install. And the project remains on schedule and within budget. So now a few progress photos. This is the bus drop-off. The curtain wall there you see laying on the ground there on the left, that's where the kids go in there, where it's kind of where you see that plastic. That should be going up, probably going to be next week before they get started on it, because they are finishing up the front side, the front of the school stuff right now. Next, here's you can see the little clips and things. This is on the art room and media center, and preparation for the tile to be installed. I think I've got to go over to the high school after this meeting and pick up some pop rivets that they've been waiting on for a few days that were delivered to the school instead of the job site. So we hope they're actually on site today cutting tiles, getting ready to fit them in place. Next. Another picture. This is in between the buildings, the existing building and the new building, along the music room and the band room, right outside of it. And then you can see a little bit of the addition there on the left. Next. This is, let me see which room this is. This is the cafeteria. Some of the ductwork, it's ready. They have been working on the drywall for that little partition there. On this side of that wall, that will be a drop ceiling. On the other side, it's going to be clouds, like the floating ceilings on the other side when it's completed. Next. This is a picture in the art room where they've got the duct done and they finally got the sheetrock covered on the walls, covering up the ICF. Next. Picture of the school board. Next. This is looking down the corridor. We finally got the rough end in place for the charging stations so that they could cover these up. They have been working on these for the past few days and have actually started finishing some of them on the classroom wing that runs east and west. Next. Some ceiling grid. Like I said earlier, most all of the classrooms on the first floor are done. There's one or two maybe, and the halls have not been done. And then they are continually working on the ones on the second floor. I think most of Area B classrooms have the grid up already. Next. stairwells. They did some framing that had to be done, and you can see they've hung sheet rock in this one. This is the one that comes out between this building and the new project. Next. And then again, there's another picture of it. Next. So this is the addition, classroom addition, where we are right now. Like I said, as soon as they pour that floor on Monday, they will continue these walls up to the roof. They'll set the board joist, the installation's already here on site, and they can get the roof on this area, and we can continue. Then they'll start doing the brick, the air barrier, the brick, and angle and everything that goes on there to match the rest of the school. Next. Here's a view of the corridor that will be going from the building out towards the tennis courts in the new addition, classroom addition. This is where they've got the board joist set in that hallway, and where that green board is, that just goes right into the school. Next. Here they are setting bar joists in the addition. Next. This is the multipurpose room. They've got, like I said, they've topped out the walls, they're stripping out their bracing, and again, it is ready for bar joists. Next. Here's another picture when they had all the braces up inside so they could pour the wall with their scaffolding. Next. And I think that's all. Any questions or comments? All right, thank you.
Members of the board, I just wanted to make one comment very briefly. You know, you've seen Tim here often, and I know that you appreciate these updates, and, you know, we try to do it in a way that the public would be informed too. But this week we had a phone call with the Corps of Engineers, and I think that the thing that many of us don't really appreciate, or it's hard to overstate. The Corps of Engineers have quality people that are watching to make sure their money is spent consistent with the mission of the Corps. And to have Tim there talking with people who are experts in building so that they can see that we're being good stewards of the money and that we are running an appropriately tight ship, that makes our life a lot easier, because when the Corps has comfort, we tend to be able to move along. But when they're not completely comfortable, we usually end up having to go back and talk with them and spend time. And Tim, because he lives among us and takes care of those things, it really is we're blessed to have Skanska monitoring this. And the other thing is, Tim gets along. I've watched Tim work for several years, but he is not. He's there to make sure this work gets done, and to have someone that knows what they're doing walking the halls while the work is being done really helps us feel better that we're going to get a quality product. There's some joke about you get what you inspect, not what you expect. And this week, Tim, I think it was this week, time runs together, but Tim always does a good job of updating with these updates with the Corps to give them the comfort that allows us to basically keep the money flowing from them and to keep the project moving. And so I just wanted to point that out, probably pointing out the obvious, but it's a big deal, the service we get from them.
It's a blessing. They've said, we just need to meet every 2 months now instead of every month.
That's right.
Well, thank y'all.
Tim, I'm sure the board may want to look next month to visit the school again. It's been several months and before the weather. Okay, so we'll try to arrange that. Thank you, sir.
All right, so our next agenda item is the certification of the 2022-23 Dixon County Public School Crisis Plan. Mrs. Robinson.
Thank you. I'm going to defer to Ms. Martin. Each school crisis plan was emailed to you for your review and consideration based on Virginia Code 22.1-279.8, which requires the public school boards to annually review the written school crisis, emergency management, and medical emergency response plans of each school it supervises. So I'm going to defer to Ms. Martin and share with her work on the crisis plans and all of our schools' work.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
As Ms. Robinson said, we sent those to you earlier to have you review those per code 22.1-279. We do ask that you annually review those. Ms. Robinson will be asked to certify those in writing to the Virginia Center for School and Campus Safety by August 31st. Each school is required to also meet with their local emergency management folks that's local to their school and have those folks help with the crisis management, and each school has done so. Tomorrow I will meet with those folks for the whole county, and we will discuss each school will also discuss the county in general, and then we'll also talk about some ideas to help with further safety issues that may or may not help, that may or may not be an issue, that could possibly be an issue. We talk about a lot of things in general, some ideas. We have a little roundtable discussion about, well, what if we did this and what if we did that? Sort of a brainstorming session on different ideas to be able to keep our schools and our campuses more safe. And so we'll meet with that tomorrow, and after that point, then we will ask Ms. Robinson to certify our crisis plans. What we ask for you today is we need an individual showing and acknowledgement that you have reviewed our safety plans that we sent to you.
And Mr. Hicks, that could just be by a simple I certify.
All right, Mr. Mullins?
I certify.
I certify.
I certify. Mr. Hackney, can you hear us?
Yes, I certify.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
Our next agenda item, discussion of staff's substitute shortage. Mrs. Robinson.
Thank you. This is a problem that not only Dixon County Public Schools are facing, but in talking to the VEA representative today, it's all over Region 7, nationally, statewide. We are facing a shortage of substitutes for all positions. When a staff member is absent, then there may not be a substitute available. This year, we've tried to address the substitute shortage in different ways. With the bus drivers, we have tried to hire what we've called two floating bus drivers that would simply be there available whenever we would need a bus driver. Right now, we've not been able to achieve that goal because they are driving for other drivers that have to be out. For our teacher shortages, one way that we're trying to address that is that we have hired full-time substitutes for our schools. Ridgeview High School, because of their staff and the large number of staff members, they have 2, and all of our other elementary and middle schools will have 1. We will be looking at other options to look at this shortage and address this shortage. We will be talking to principals just to address that shortage, to take care of our children, to make certain that they are well supervised and that they are safe, our staff is safe, and the instruction is going on. So the good news, one good news, and Ms. Baker just told me, is that we have 18 substitutes that will be approved this evening. So we hope that will help. We've also increased the substitute pay trying to be proactive. We'll continue to be proactive in looking at that. But I just wanted to share that with our board officially. And I also wanted to share that with the public, that we do have a staff substitute shortage, and that if anyone is interested in either driving a bus or being a substitute teacher, substitute cook, custodian, to please contact our office. Mark Mullins is our HR person, and will certainly be very glad to talk to them. Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Are there any questions regarding the substitute shortage or anything in that manner?
All right, Mr. Robinson, will you give us an update on the request from the Dixon County Fair Committee?
Yes, sir, I certainly will. I sent you an email last week, and what we've asked the committee is to please, to send us certain documents that VACOR, our insurance carrier, has requested. We're still waiting on those and hope to receive them soon. As soon as we have received them, we will certainly get him back in touch with our board, and that will be what the tentative plan to dismiss our first and second graders to go to the fair on September the 16th. But I would like for the board to consider revising the calendar and dismiss schools on Friday, September the 16th at 12 and at 12:15 p.m. Teacher workday will remain until 3, and that way our children and our families will get to enjoy the Dixon County Fair for them. So, Mr. Hicks and board members, we're just asking the board to have a motion to propose the revision in the calendar, and I will keep the board updated as we receive the documents that we have requested, and as VACOR has requested for the fair, for the safety of our children.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to revise the school calendar for early student dismissal on Friday, September the 16th, 2022, that students and their families may attend the Dixon County Fair. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Our next agenda item is public surplus.
I'm having the same problem, sir. This comes from our cafeteria staff, Mrs. Compton. She has asked that we conduct a smallware sale of kitchen equipment that are not being used. You see the items, stock pots, kettles, trays, bowls, utensils, and other miscellaneous kitchen items, and we recommend the approval of the public surplus sale for this kitchen equipment.
I make the motion we do this.
So we have a motion to approve public surplus as presented. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So this will conclude our open session. It's now time for board comment. Mr. Mullins?
Yeah, it's really good to see the new school continuing with Mr. Burge, all the work that they've done there. And it's really great to know that we have such a good staff that we continue to see. This last week has been great with the school starting in a very positive way. And to those teachers and the students with the biscuit situation with Mark Warner, that's just fantastic, and I think y'all ought to consider another part-time. Maybe you could be lobbyist or something. But but thank you all for all that you did to do that. And And then another thing too, I'd like to mention that on WCYB last night, that Ridgeview was rated number 2. So that was really good. So there are a lot of positive things going on. That's all I've got, Jason.
Well, it seems from my point of view that it's been a good start, and just every day is a challenge, and to keep everybody safe and everybody on the roads and in the classrooms and wherever. It's just a big task every single day, and we all know that. I was so proud of those 8th graders. They sat there and were so well behaved and listened, and their questions were on target to the senator, and he certainly responded in excellent fashion to those students. And he's been a friend to Dixon County in so many ways, and before him, I know it's easy to mix up John Warner and Mark Warner, but I had the privilege of meeting both of them at my time. He came to Clintwood Elementary several years ago when Mr. John Warner came to Dixon County on many occasions, and he's, for those of you who live on these ridges out here, Backbone and Long Ridge, where I live, Brusher Ridge, et cetera, and even into Frying Pan, where the first settlers settled in, there's public water up there now. And those people took such an interest in us and helped us, the PS, the Public Service Authority in Dixon County, to just work miracles. And that I said, I like to see public water go to every child's house. Every child would have access to public water. That's right much impossible, but we probably did as good as we could given the circumstances. They can't fund things that simply can't be funded. But most people out there now have access, and that's a huge blessing for our kids in every way. Makes life so much easier for everybody, all the families. And I'd say keep on going. I hope the football team has the best success in all the sports, and the band. I see everything they're involved in. That seems exciting, and I do not know Mr. McCullough, but I read about what he does, and he stays busy. I mean, it's obvious. His name's on many things come across their mail, and I'm sure all the teachers are, this teacher shortage is not just here, it's all around the country. And we have Dixon County has a pretty competitive package as far as the employee benefits package. The salary is less than some. Ms. Robinson gives that information to us from every county, and the insurance policy, I think, in Dixon County is about, is it $24,000 per family? That's the cost of that, and some people can go to a neighboring county and make thousands more on the salary, but their insurance is a little different. It's competitive out there, and Dixon County has to be in a position to compete in order to keep things going in a productive way for our students and for our employees. And I just hope that all the leaders in Dickinson County now and in the future understand that this is serious business. These kids are here and they deserve the best. And we the people need to provide them as best we can. And I just hope everybody comes together in a good way and get along and try to solve this in a reasonable and effective manner.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hackney.
I just wanted to thank Senator Mark Warner for visiting our schools this week, and just wanted to say appreciate the rest of the board for allowing me to participate remotely. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you participating remotely, for sure.
Vote's close.
I'm just excited to see a good start to the school year. You know, it's always pretty exciting when that rolls around. I think with the extra long break that kids are probably ready to get out. You know, I mean, I used to love summer break, but I was always got kind of bored, and it was time to go back. And so hopefully that's where they're at, and I'm sure that's where a lot of our staff was at too. And, you know, I just wanted to say how much that I know that this board and our community and parents and kids appreciate the folks that work with Dixon County Schools, from administrators and teachers and paraprofessionals and coaches and bus drivers and nurses and our cooks and everybody involved. We really do appreciate it. As Mr. His name said, that we are, it's all about these kids, and these kids that are the best that we can give them, and we have some absolutely fantastic people that work with our kids, and we have some absolutely fantastic kids to work with.
Yes, absolutely.
At this time, we will now go into closed session. Closed session pursuant to Section 2.2-3711, Paragraph A of the Code of Virginia, there will be a closed session for the purpose of, 1, employment issues relating to discussion or consideration of specific individuals for employment as an alternative education facilitator, substitutes, part-time aides, bus driver, coaches, FMLA, and resignations pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A1. Number 2, student scholastic issues associated with parental homeschooling requests pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A2. 3, to consult with legal counsel regarding the investment of public funds associated with school construction and consultation regarding actual or probable litigation, along with consultation regarding specific matters requiring legal advice pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A, 6, 7, and 8 of the Code of Virginia. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are now All right. Is there a motion to come out of closed session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
We are now out of closed session. Ms. Robinson, will you please read the certification?
Yes, sir. Whereas the Dickinson County School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law, now therefore be it resolved that the Dickinson County School Board hereby certifies to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only the public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered. Would you please certify?
I certify.
I certify.
I certify.
I certify.
Are there any motions from closed session?
Mr. Chairman, I would ask that the board approve the personnel recommendations as presented in executive session.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there any other business to discuss? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye.